All right, there's two schools that I identified today as being teaching from learning approach and activity-based approach. I looked up the physical education programs for Jonesboro High School and Clayton High. I identified Jonesboro High School as a teaching from learning approach based on the physical education program. Looking at the program, it identifies some of the standards that are the national standard base. It also incorporates the three domains that are in the standards, and it talks about teaching the whole student, emotionally, physically, mentally, socially, and it really follows the guidelines of the standards. Physical education curriculum book, page 5, it talks about the developing the whole student, develop physical literate individuals in the fullest sense, because the standards cover the three domains, and those are the domains I was talking about Jonesboro High using, and these are the standards as well that they really incorporated the motor skills, the strategies, and just teaching the whole individual student. So it's really what I see in Jonesboro High based off of. As the Clayton High School, it really seems activity based. It talks about a lot of sports, a lot of fitness and activities. So it really, on the Clayton High, it talks about the personal fitness and a lot of individual teams, sports, team based sports, track and field, a lot of sports things, a lot of activity based, nothing really off the standards. Clayton High, it really seems to fall into the category of activity based approach. Like I said, it seemed to be not as much fundamentals, but a lot of game approach, and it didn't really follow the standards as well. And so that's really where I based the two programs off of, is just some of the content in the book. Schools physical education program really emphasizes, like once again, motor skills, physical fitness, the strategies, and covers the whole student and the teaching and learning approach, as well as the Clayton High. It doesn't really seem to be standard based. It seems to be majority activity and just based off the activity approach. And the second question, how do the programs differ? Once again, the Jonesboro High, it's really based off the standards and teaches the child physically, mentally, socially, and where the child learns. The child is learning based off what they're teaching. And the Clayton High, it doesn't really seem to be teaching anything. It talks about focusing on fitness and focusing on team sports and a bunch of sports, weightlifting, once again, track and field. Uh, that's really the big difference of the two. One's Clayton High seems to be more game based sports and not based off the standards. This is the Jonesboro High physical health, physical education. Uh, it uses all the domains. It follows the standards, teaches strategies, the fundamentals, motor skills, and teaches overall fitness, individual and team sports activities. So it really incorporates those standards, those national standards we're talking about, and such as the other Clayton High is this website, and this is a high school physical education program. It focuses on, like I said, focuses on fitness. It really just shows an individual and team sports, and then it goes down here and really talks about the courses they have are team, lifetime sports, track and field, weightlifting, and it really doesn't seem to be based off the standards, not nearly as much as the Jonesboro High. Uh, so that's the real big difference that I found out in these two health programs. And the third question, how would a visitor find out if a school program is really good and if they use the best content, I would check the physical education program and look at their program and see what it's based on. Is it based off the national standards, or is it based off just something they made up off of activities and games and doesn't really follow the standards? And if so, I would also check and see if the standards are grade level appropriate and see if they actually fit the grade levels they're intended to teach, and really just make sure it's overall teaching and the student is learning and not just the student is doing and playing and having games and very little instruction and no assessment. So really just check the content of the program.